This is Black Science TV, and we bring to you another episode on street building. We're gonna touch on some things right now as far as diets. What is diet? How important is it? And are we eating the same thing that these genetically modified species and organisms eat? So I'm gonna let my brother build on that, and bring some information, and I'm gonna shoot some questions at him.
All right. Thank you, brother. How you doing today?
Doing righteous.
All right. Black Science TV. This is Osei Kufuor. I'm coming to you today on health. A lot of people ask me, what should they be eating? What should they not eat? Well, we're going to touch on protein for a second because that's very valuable to the body because you cannot get protein outside of yourself if you're a melanated species.
Righteous.
Now, a lot of people come to me and say they eat cow, they eat steak for protein.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, the cow don't eat another cow to get its protein. The cow eats what? Grass, correct?
Right.
I'm not saying to go eat some grass or nothing, but it has the additives in it for its diagram and its DNA of the cow because the cow is not even natural. The cow is an ox and a bull crossbred. It's just like when you take a grapefruit and you take the seed of a lemon and the seed of an orange and you genetically modify it or crossbreed it, becomes a grapefruit. And anytime you genetically modify anything, it compromises those nutrients. So the thing is, anything that has been crossbreeded is not good. The cow, for an example, is an ox and a bull. Like I said, it's not natural. The pig is a cat, a rat, and an East African dog. You understand what I'm saying? So when you look at the pig, for an example, if you look at the tail, it's a spiral tail. Now, if you look at a rat, it has the same identical tail. Right. Correct? So, what we should be eating is everything that's conducive to our DNA.
Now, let me touch on the question. I don't mean to interrupt you, brother. Now, I've been doing my research, and I got to ask this because I want to inform the listeners and those who are out there viewing this video. Are nutrition labels here to protect us? Because we know that during slavery, you labeled a slave a slave.
Right.
And with nutrition labels, you see these many different ingredients that are put in these, as you said, genetically modified foods they're making. So is it there to protect us or is it there to distract us?
Well, it's a part of the agenda for the pharmaceuticals, the Food and Drug Administration, and also the pharmaceuticals because they are all intertwined with each other as far as the corporations is concerned. Now, when you're watching a label, you have to understand that, for an example, a lot of Muslims say, I don't eat pork. And I say, you don't. I say, well, do you eat cereal? Do you eat enriched flour? See, anything that's enriched must be genetically modified by way of gene splicing. It's called gene splicing. And what is gene splicing? Gene splicing is when you go into the pig, the cells of a pig, and you cut out a part of the DNA of that cell, and you add another clone cell with that, and that's what you call genetically modified organisms. Now, we must remember that organisms are living things. But what does it consist of? It consists of other cells. It consists of clone cells. So when those cells go into your body, it starts to attack those other cells in your body. Not only that, but these same cells send signals to other cells because there's certain cells in your body now that has nucleuses, and there's certain cells that don't have a nucleus. The nucleus is what sucks in the radiation of the sun as far as the vitamin D, that form of communication. What it does is those certain cells will take messages to other cells and take them up to the brain cells. And it downloads. Your body is a whole computer. Now, so the thing is this right here, when you, say for instance, if you go to a computer and you take a disk and you feed it to that computer and it got a virus on it, the computer gonna shut down. So you have to get rid of that virus. Now, the GMO or the processed foods that we're eating, if we take that in, that'll be just like a virus, and we will have to clean that out by way of software. What is that? Electric foods high in alkaline. So
now we all look at certain things pertaining to diet, and many individuals they may say, well, this is wrong, this is right. Now I looked at something that one of the great scholarly dietitians and fathers that I would say of just food in general, Dr. Sebi said mucus is the only disease. How do you feel about that, brother? Is that true?
He's correct. Now, and I'm gonna break it down because when you have mucus in the nose, when you get a cold and you got mucus clogging up your nose, you lose that sense of being able to smell.
Yes, you do.
Now, mucus in the bronchial tubes is bronchitis. Mucus in the lungs is pneumonia. But when you got mucus in the brain, that's Alzheimer's.
Woo!
You lose the sense of smelling when the mucus is in your nose.
Run that back again. Run it back again, because I don't think they got it. Run it back one more time.
All right, mucus in the nose. When you got a cold and your nose is stopped up, you lose that sense of smell. Right? So when you have mucus in your brain, you lose that sense of being able to remember. That's a sense. So now you will have to actually flush that mucus, just like AIDS, HIV. All HIV is when every system of your body is clogged up with mucus.
Now let me ask you this question, because in 1984, Robert Gallo he was one of the, and he already did his research too, because he was an historian of, the Egyptians and Imhotep, who was the father of medicine,
right.
by the way. He said the same thing you said. He said HIV and AIDS is not a sexually transmitted disease, because he shot himself up with that same so-called disease, and he didn't get it. Why did he get that, brother? Why did he get that? Can you break that down? Was it him not being, as we would say, responsive to it, or did he know that it was certain ways to go, as you say, to defeat that?
Well, the thing is, a lot of people don't, and Dr. Sebi don't touch on this either. And I'm not down on him. This is my elder. I love him. He brought a lot for us to build onto. But all HIV is, cancer is a form of HIV.
Right.
In a lower stage. You understand what I'm saying? Pneumonia is a form of HIV. A lot of people who consist of HIV, I can guarantee you by a fact that they have had pneumonia 2 or 3 times. You understand what I'm saying? And if they haven't, or if they try to say they didn't, they just didn't know or had knowledge of it. Because sometimes pneumonia can come on a level of just flu, and you just won't know it. But the thing is this right here. When mucus in the body is inside of the pancreas, the spleen, the liver,
right,
the kidney, when those bodily organs are stopped up with mucus, like I said before, the pancreas, when it's clogged up with mucus, it shuts down that natural insulin from being able to go into the bloodstream.
Right.
So therefore, your sugar levels and your equilibrium is thrown off. You understand what I'm saying? It's just like the universe. Every time they plant stuff into the universe that's not conducive to the universe's DNA,
right,
the universe has the same DNA as us. It's going to get sick.
Now you touched on earlier.
Right.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, brother.
Well,
you touched on earlier that we need to eat electric foods. Within electric foods, because we know most of that culture and the diet itself, it originated from African origin. Did Africans eat meat?
No, they did not. And if they did eat meat, they ate the animals that only ate the plant life. For an example, you have the gorilla. The gorilla has melanin, just like we have melanin. And it's the strongest thing in the jungle. You understand what I'm saying? And it only eat berries and fruits from trees. But you have other primates that eat meat. So we would eat the animals that will only eat plant life.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And we only did it maybe once a month. And we did it for dowry, or maybe we did it just for, to offer some type of rendition to the ancestors.
Right.
Because you gotta understand that we had our own gods also. But it wasn't a god. You understand what I'm saying? We went by nature. We studied, we highly revered water. We highly revered air, earth, and sun. You understand what I'm saying? Because like I said, if the sun was to leave the earth right now, we would be out of cosmic rhythm with ourselves. We'll cease to exist.
Right.
So the thing is this right here, yes, that is another fact, but another thing also too is when you get sick and you catch a virus, your body gets hot. You understand what I'm saying? Because you put something in your body that's not conducive to its electrons. Now, when the universe now has a virus, right, and now the sun is turning up, so now it's about to do away with that which is not conducive to it.
Right.
So the thing is, everything that's not of a natural state or of natural existence is about to be done away with. Now,
we've been conditioned in this society from a younger age to always, or just in certain facets, taking sugar.
Right.
What is processed sugar? How dangerous is it? And should anybody with melanin or a melanated species eat this sugar? Should anybody even consider eating it?
Right. Well, let me just give you an example of what diagram does sugar fit.
Right.
Now, you notice how European scientists, when they're in the laboratory and they experiment on anything, notice that the mouse or the rat or the germ is a white entity, right? It's not a brown entity, but you will never see a white mouse running around in nature. Why? Because it's not natural to its environment. So therefore, it's the same thing for the sugar. The sugar's diagram, which is the white diagram, only fits the diagram of that white entity. Europeans can eat sugar. You understand what I'm saying? Because they don't have the melanocytes. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
We have melanocytes, and once that sugar touches those nucleus, the nucleus diagram within our melanin, it suppresses that melanin. And now you're cut off from every form of communication in the universe.
Right.
So no, anything white is not good for us.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like I said, you'll never find a white mouse in public or in an environment running around because it's not conducive to the environment. You only see a gray and a brown. You understand what I'm saying? So therefore, when they study in white mouse, they are studying cures for themselves. The medicine is not for you.
Right.
You don't have the same biochemical structure as that mouse. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So the thing is, this is why we die. You say that, well, I'm going to take that medicine for an example. I had a call to the hospital the other day, and I went out there and I said, you have diabetes. She passed, as a lady, I won't say her name, she said that she was there for diabetes. She fell out. I said, well, you know they're going to prescribe to you some medicines. And if you don't know the ingredients of the medicine they're giving to you, then, you know, it's not good for you.
Absolutely.
So I said, I'm going to put you on a therapy, a 30-day therapy. You get what I'm saying? And we're going to get that pancreas back up and running to where the natural insulin is flowing back into the bloodstream to balance your sugar levels. But she was so conditioned to the point she was like, well, I have to take the medicine. The doctor say I have to. So I waited till the doctor come in the room and I said, you're about to prescribe this lady medicine.
Right.
She's a black lady. I said, but what you're about to prescribe to her, one of the ingredients in it was bicarbonate. It was a family member of bicarbonate, right? So I said, don't you know that this substance is not conducive to her biochemical structure because she has melanin. You don't have melanin. You have a sulfur-based biochemical structure. Your cells is contained with sulfur. And anytime sulfur is touched with CO2, it burns. This is why you all have to put sunblock on.
Right.
And the young lady was like, you know, I think she was still in school studying medical. She was like, I didn't know that I'd get an answer back to you. I said, I'm giving you the answer. Go do your research.
Right.
I said, this is why in the laboratory you are all experimenting on things that's conducive to your diagram genetic codes.
Absolutely.
You get what I'm saying? So, yeah.
So one of the things I want to say or ask you, are we in the neutral side? Because we heard of genocides, we heard of many different things that are planned to eradicate this melanated species. Are we in the neutral side? And if we are in a neutral side, how do we fight? How do we fight back? Because we know that the FDA, many organizations, they regulate our foods. You got many individuals that may be on a limited income, or they may be receiving government assistance, and they only can buy certain amounts of food, but based on their income. So what do we do? What do we where do we go? What types of foods do we eat in order for us to be able to, not be above our heads?
Well, the thing is this right here. If you are a melanated species today, you have to understand that you are in a part of evolution.
Right.
Even the foods that you eat sooner or later won't be able to harm you. You got to understand that or understand that, because the thing is this right here, even the chemtrails, for an example, they see now that the chemtrails that's falling is actually strengthening a part of our melanin. So now they went back to the laboratory to try to make some other stuff up.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? But yeah, this is genocide by way of foods. And they know that we're going to eat it. Why? Because they studied our taste sense. And whenever you conquer 5 senses of the people, then you got them. What we look at is food. You understand what I'm saying? The people we're around are food. It's not just physical food. I could be around a lot of people who are sick.
Right.
And think negative. You understand what I'm saying? And they can send them frequencies from their cells can be sent to my cells.
Oh,
and
wow.
this can produce salts in the body. You understand that when you stress, your body produces salts.
Now I gotta ask you a question. If I can be around somebody who's sick and they sending out negative frequencies, can sound make me sick? Can conversation make me sick?
Well, you are sound. That's the whole thing.
Oh man, okay.
Anybody who eats genetically modified organisms are tuned down.
Right.
And this right here, they are letting off. When you tune down as a person, you understand what I'm saying? You have a rhythm going on, just like the universe, but you can't hear it. But if that person has a rhythm going on, how is that? It's contained within the molecules that's around them. They have a force field around them, which connects them to the spiritual umbilical cord of the universe and other celestial bodies. So the thing is, that right there, those frequencies are transferred to you. Do you understand what I'm saying? And then those cells, like I said, they communicate. Your cells are like antennas. They communicate. And those channels, they channel all the way up into your brain. And you picking up on the same energy as the people around you. That's why I tell people, if you come into the conscious community or you're trying to come back into that spiritual aspect and open that pineal gland, you have to get away from other people. You can't just do it halfway. You can't say that I'm eating good, but yet you have these other foods around you that are people that's being fed into your mental womb.
Right.
Because they're going to stress you out. Like I said, the body produces salts in the blood, and this is where high blood pressure come in at. You can catch high blood pressure from people being around you.
Right.
You understand? You can get cancer from people being around you because your body produces certain elements in the body, and you don't know what it is because they're not going to teach you in school. The doctors in America are dumb, and I'm sorry. If any of our people feel like, I'm being a bit, annoying when it comes to that, but the thing is, they're only going to teach you to make other people sick, because if they were to heal us, they wouldn't have a job.
Now I want you to speak on that. Now you see many different individuals that take part, and because they just, recently brought Dr. Sebi to court for that. Right. Based on some of the things he teaches, his principles, and how he applies his diet to everybody to heal us. Right. Now you see many individuals, let's say they may, as you say, subscribe you a so-called treatment, a medicine. I look at certain things like cannabis oil, different things like that. Do you feel like it's an agenda to keep people in a condition where I'm treating you only so much that I'm gonna keep you alive to make enough profit?
Well, no, I'm against that because the laws of our ancestors, and not to use it so blatant, because the thing is, there's a lot of things that our ancestors did not know that we are finding today.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? But no, the universal laws is that nothing that is conducive, like I said, to its environment should not be there, so it's up to us to heal it.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So we are healers. We are natural healers.
Gotcha.
You understand what I'm saying? We could, at one time, you could take a woman who's on her menstrual cycle and put her in a bed with somebody who has a high temperature.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And it will bring that temperature down. Because when a woman is on her menstrual cycle, her equilibrium is balanced. You understand what I'm saying? And it will balance that person who's ill, it will balance that equilibrium out. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, I think that when someone's sick, well, the thing is this right here, I'm very revolutionary. I'm for my people only. So I'm here to heal my people only.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, you know, yeah, I think that we should be very mindful that, you know, karma exists. And karma is a good thing because it balances the negative and the positive. Just like your conscience is negative and the positive. You have Christ and you have Satan. That's just your negative and your positive. There's nothing wrong with that. You understand what I'm saying? When you're looking at cartoons, see, you gotta understand that cartoons give you more consciousness than the movies.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? When you got the angel on one side and you got the devil on the other side, it's just your conscience. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's not free will. Religion always say free will, free will, free will. No, you do what you want to do. You
Now,
understand what I'm saying? You cannot blame nobody but yourself for whatever goes on with you or your situation.
Now let me ask you a question. Do you feel like you touched on a little bit earlier, do you feel like within religion, they've touched on certain dietary things, like the Levitical law? Where do you think that came from? Like, and do you think it's any good in that? Do you think we can use anything in religion to benefit our bodies, our mind, our spirit, our soul, our whole well-being? Do you think it's anything we can use that has valid, proof and substantial meaning to edify us spiritually and health-wise?
Right. Well, the thing is this right here. There is. Because religion is all around us right now.
Right.
The sun is playing a part of religion. The stars, the moon, we are playing a part of religion. By me and you having a conversation, that's a part of religion. Why? Because we building each other up.
Right.
But we're not just building each other up physically, we building each other up mentally. When we build each other up mentally, we build each other up spiritually. You understand what I'm saying? So the thing is this right here. If for the Christians, for an example, you know I got to go at them. There's nothing wrong with the Bible at all if you follow it. If Christians were to follow that Bible's dietary regimen, they would be fine.
Right.
The Bible says not to eat of the swine because it doesn't have hooves, and it doesn't chew up the cud. So,
and just to make sure I come in, we know that those animals didn't chew cud. By the way, I just wanted to clarify that because I did my research on that. They didn't chew cud.
That's right.
So, like my brother said again, you got to look at it and you got to really break it apart. I'm gonna let my brother keep building.
You know, anything that eat his own children, you shouldn't eat. Anything that eat his own shit, you shouldn't eat. Like I said, you are what you eat. You think the way you eat. So if you eat too much pig, then therefore you manifest a hoggish communication.
Right.
You can't think. People talking about some ADHDs or mental illness. No. Every pastor in America is mental ill. They have a mental illness. You know why?
Why is that?
Because of the way that they eat. I'm not going to take some type of advice from somebody who's eating a pig or eating some beef or Philly cheesesteak. You understand what I'm saying? Because that tells me that their cells are slowed down and their frequency is low.
Righteous.
You understand what I'm saying? So no, they have a nerve. Older people got a nerve to tell us what our young people should be doing. But if we look at their generation and see what they've accomplished, then we'll be in the same situation or even worse.
Right.
The saying is, if you want to be successful in anything, you must study the minds of those who are successful.
Right.
If you study a fool, then you become a fool. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, if they follow their doctrines, they will actually be in a better position.
So with that being,
but that's just physically.
Right.
Mentally, if they follow that doctrine, they will still be suppressed spiritually because they still looking at something that's been consistent or compiled together by philosophers and homosexuals at that. You understand what I'm saying? So now you see why the resonance of the energy in the church is homosexuality.
Right.
That's the biggest compound of the church today, homosexuality.
Right.
The highest carriers of diabetes. So you got a nerve to tell me to just believe in Jesus, put it in God's hand. Hell no.
Now,
when you got our sisters out here being shot down, being hung up, brothers being shot down, how the fuck you gonna sit back and pray for a goddamn cracker who shoot your people down? You talking about Jesus this, Jesus that. That's because you're justifiable and you scared as a motherfucker.
Right.
You hide behind the pulpit. You understand what I'm saying? And this is for any pastor who's watching. You're not going to sit back and tell me to just give it to God while my young women are being raped.
Right.
My son's being shot down. That's because you're afraid and you sold out.
Right.
That's the whole thing. See, the church, the thing with the churches is right here. If Jesus really existed, and I'll play along in y'all hand for a little while.
Right.
If Jesus really existed, did Jesus have a 501c3 with the IRS? Huh? And what is the IRS? The IRS is the collection agency of the International Monetary Fund System.
Wait. Did he come to one of the disciples and he there was a tax collector and he brought him out of that life?
That's right. He overturned the tables. So therefore, now you have churches not only in Lynchburg, Virginia, doing tax collecting. They don't even believe in God. And this is why they're in the condition they're in. One minute you got them out here in clubs, running around, talking about they stressed. So if you stressed, how powerful is your fucking God?
Right.
If you stressed, if you got to run around here and tell people your problems, and get on social network and tell people your problems, because I see a lot of people that get on there, they get up there, throughout the week they stress. On Sunday, I'm ready to go to church. So the thing is, you're going for a temporary fix. It's like crack. Religion has never done anything for our people, and that's the most. That type of food right there is more dangerous than the physical foods and genetically modified organisms that we put in our body.
Right.
Because when you believe in something that you don't know the ingredients of, like I said before, you're gonna die from it, and you're gonna unconsciously die from that shit. So hell no. You know what I mean? You got a lot of pastors running around here, like I said. The IRS, did Jesus have a business license with the IRS, the International Revenue Service? Did he have one? And if so, go back into the records and show me his employee identification number. And show me his account number and route number.
Right.
Because he didn't.
Bill.
You understand what I'm saying? So the thing is, we got to come out of that. Not only that, but you got church goers going around talking about some, the pastor this, the pastor that. You making him rich.
Right.
The pastor, this is what people fail to realize about religion. Religion is not something to be worshipped. It's something to be done in an ordinance or a conducive basis, on a consistent basis. You understand what I'm saying? Like I said, if I go and water a plant every Thursday, that's a religion.
It is.
You get what I'm saying? Religion is not conducive to our biochemical structure. Just like certain genetically modified organisms is not conducive to our biochemical structure.
Right.
Religion is GMO. It's processed.
Right.
Process is something that's made by man, but your Bible say, lean not into man for your own understanding. Well, who wrote your book? Huh?
A man.
God ain't writing. God ain't writing. And why do they have to translate a holy book 11 different times or even more?
Right.
If God was so holy, his book wouldn't have to be tampered with or transliterated.
Right. And this for something, y'all, that y'all, if the listeners didn't know, the creation story was written 2 times. And the book that was put in place before Genesis was Exodus. It was an oral tradition. Right. So this man is building on something that you got to look at and you got to digest it completely. And with that being...
Well, not only that, but when you go into the New Testament, all you have to do is go type in the Roman Piso family. They were the writers of the New fucking Testament.
Right.
The Roman Piso family. Look it up. Roman Piso family. Piso is P-I-S-O. You understand what I'm saying? And again, how the hell does Christ exist 2,000 years ago, but his story was written 1,000 years after he existed?
Right.
1,000. That's like me existing today, and then, a group of people 1,000 years later go and write a book about me.
Right.
They don't know nothing about my life. You get what I'm saying? So we need to wake up. You know what I mean? And another thing too, before I close out, I just want to say, we do have a university, an online university coming up December the 1st. University of Metaphysics. It's going to be online. I will keep everyone updated to confirm prices and things like that. But so far, I know that the whole class will be $400. That covers the books, the materials, and everything like that. All right. So without further ado, this is the Metaphysics Society Association, Black Science TV 111. I thank my brother again for everything that he's doing in society and in the community. Black Power.
Peace.
Peace.